Welcome to the Black Entrepreneur Experience podcast, inside the business, buzz, and brilliance of Black entrepreneurs. Here is your host, Dr. Frances Richards.
What happens in Vegas goes all over the world on Black Entrepreneur Experience, episode number 427. Thank you for joining us as we elevate the Black Entrepreneur Experience by interviewing CEOs, thought leaders, innovative thinkers, and Black entrepreneurs across the globe. I'm your host, Dr. Frances Richards. Are you selling a product or service and you want to become skillful at building relationships that will result in both personal and professional growth? Our next guest is an author, a certified business consultant, and networking coach. Welcome, Jevonya. Allen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Richards, for having me.
You're welcome. I've given our audience such a brief bio. Why don't you fill in the gaps and share with our audience what you'd like them to know about you and your business?
Well, first, I'd like them to know that I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, raised in Providence, Rhode Island, and I currently live in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I've been here for 15 months. I started my first business in 2009 in network marketing. I was selling legal plans, which introduced me to the world of business networking events. I started attending networking events, absolutely loved them. However, something just wasn't right. By nature, I am an introvert. Yes, most people are like, you're an introvert? Yes, I am, Jevonya. My book is called The Introvert's Guide to Becoming a Master Networker. And so through these networking events, I realized that people make money through networking, and I needed to make some money. And so hence I started my company, Twisted Networking, in 2017. I wrote my book in 2020, self-published it during the pandemic. And I recently released my digital course called Networking School. So that's just a little bit about my background and my business.
And how did you end up in Mexico?
I came here December 2021 during the pandemic, just on vacation. I went to my travel agent and I'm like, hey, I need somewhere to go, somewhere warm. And she was like, how about Mexico? And I'm like, Mexico? What do you have? And so she found me this great deal, Playa del Carmen, Mexico. I came, stayed for a week, oceanfront on the Caribbean by myself, and it absolutely changed my life. I packed up my bags. 4 months later, I moved here, and as I mentioned, I've been here 15 months now.
Talk about self-publishing. What advice would you give someone who'd like to self-publish?
So self-publishing can be quite intimidating, primarily because you're up against the traditional publishing companies. You'll get a lot of information that's saying traditional publishing is the best. Give us $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 and we'll do it for you. We'll do this, we'll do your marketing, we'll do everything. But if you publish yourself, you're not going to get as much reach. It's not going to be well received if you do it yourself. So come and let us do it for you. However, I found that I didn't have $10,000, $20,000, $40,000 to give this company, but I wanted to publish a book. I wanted to get my book out there. And so I read up a little bit on it, watched the YouTube videos, followed other self-publishers, and I went and did my own. It's not that difficult. You write your manuscript, you have an editor, you create your cover, you upload it into whatever platform you use, and you start selling your book. You start marketing yourself. It's not that difficult of a process.
Tell us about your book.
So The Introvert's Guide to Becoming a Master Networker, it's based off of my experiences in the world of networking, especially as an introvert. In my book, I share a little bit about my story, how I got started, but I also share 10 tips or 10 key points on how to become a master networker from an introvert's perspective. And it also helps introverts and extroverts. I talk about things like personal development, affirmations, using social media, names, becoming great with people's names, how to use compliments, and even the power of your smile. So I give 10 tips on how to become a master networker. With those tips, I also give actionable steps. So I give you things. This is what you need to do this week. This is where you need to go this week. Because to me, networking is the number one key to success. You can have the best products and services, but if you're not talking to anybody and if nobody's promoting you, your business is not going to grow. And so my goal is really to help people to become more comfortable and confident in networking.
And how did you use that during the pandemic? And I know you were writing the book, but talk about the pandemic and how you pivoted.
Awesome. So my company, Twisted Networking, prior to the pandemic, I hosted in-person networking events. And then I was selling my system to other entrepreneurs who wanted to use my system to build their business. However, when the pandemic hit and we couldn't have these in-person events, I quickly figured out how to use Zoom to still host events. Those other people that I was working with, they weren't able to really transition to the virtual world as easily as I was able to. So for 2 years, actually for the last 3 years, I've been the only one hosting events. I did all free events. I put myself out there. I promoted other people, and my business has reached Malaysia, Africa, Peru, Canada, Brazil. I still host a monthly free networking event, bringing entrepreneurs on from all over the world so that they can still promote their business. And not only does it help them, but it also helps me to stay relevant.
What is 3 truths that you've learned about life or business?
One truth that I've learned is that everything is about people. We tend to forget that people are our most valuable commodity. Everything is about people. Money comes from people. Ideas come from people. I run into so many people who talk about how they don't like people. And it's like, if you don't like people, that's a problem. Because first of all, you're saying you don't like yourself because you're a person. And then, everything that we need is connected to people. So relationships are the most important thing. The second truth that I learned is that you cannot be afraid of money. A lot of us, especially Black people, people of color, we're afraid to make money. We're afraid of success. And if you're afraid of it, it's going to run from you. So we need to get our mindset together, because we're not going to get ourselves out of these situations if we are afraid of success and if we are afraid of money. The third thing that I really appreciated is that the first relationship that you have to have is with yourself. That's the best relationship. A lot of us struggle with relationships with ourselves and we don't even realize it. And so if your business is not growing, if you're having difficulties with other people, the first person you need to look at is yourself. And it's hard to take a look in that mirror, but we have to do that, especially when we're in business, because people are buying you. They're buying your business. They're buying your belief. And if you don't feel good about yourself, if you don't believe in what you're doing, you're not going to be able to translate that to other people.
You dropped some value bombs there, and you talked about getting your mindset together and not to be afraid of success, not to be afraid of money. Talk about that workaround mindset.
Yeah, it's a huge process. When I started my first business, it was a network marketing company. However, personal development was everything. We were encouraged to read 10 pages of a good book every day. And that's where I started to learn about not just professional development. Oh, I need to learn this skill for my job, but personal development. I need to learn this skill for Jevonya. And so I started reading about leadership. I started taking personality tests. I started looking myself in the mirror, because we have a lot of negative training going on in our head, especially from infancy. Being a young Black woman in America, you're already taught from birth, your hair isn't good enough, your skin isn't good enough, you're too big, you're too this, your nose is that. We go through all of that, and that is in our psyche. We might not realize it, but it's there. And as you get into business, you need to deprogram yourself. We're programmed wrong from birth. And so with personal development, I found that I needed to do a lot of affirmations. I had to train my thinking, because I was one of those people, I don't like being around people. That was my thought. People get on my nerves. They bother me. It's too people-y out there. But if I don't want to be around people, how am I going to grow my business? How am I going to be able to take care of my parents when they're unable to take care of themselves? So I did a lot of reading, a lot of studying. Still today, I read a lot. I read something about leadership every single day, because the first person I have to lead is Jevonya.
Speaking of reading, what book would you recommend and why?
One of my favorite books, and I've been reading this every day for 14 years, is the John C. Maxwell Daily Reader. It's 365 days of insight to develop the leader within you and influence those around you. That book is amazing. Each entry is probably just one small page. You have an entry for every day of the year. You wake up, you read your little leadership tip, you meditate on it, you see how you can apply it to yourself, and then how you can apply it to other people. And as I mentioned, it's about leadership. If you can't lead yourself, you're not going to be able to lead anybody else. So I'm really big on making sure that I'm doing what's right for me first, and then I'm able to take care of other people.
Who are your top 2 influencers or mentors, and what lessons do they teach you?
My top 2. So Mr. Maxwell definitely is up there. I've read quite a few of his books. I just like his style. I like how he easily delivers his message. It's timeless information. So he is definitely up there. And being an introvert, I don't spend too much time with a lot of people. So reading his books has definitely helped me think about my place in the world and how I can help other people. So if anybody's interested, I highly recommend Mr. John C. Maxwell on leadership. And then Oprah Winfrey is like one of my favorites. I absolutely just love watching her, seeing her style, her grace, the way she's handled herself in the world. And being a Black woman, representation definitely matters. So I always look up to her. One day I'd love to, just sit in a room with her and I don't even need to talk to her. I just want to look at her and just give her flowers, because she's beautiful and she's such a fine example for us.
Jevonya, I want you to have a monologue. I want you to name this person, living or not, and they've inspired you so much. Who is that person, and what are you saying to that person?
Wow. So that person is definitely my mom. She doesn't even realize how much she has helped me in life. And I'm going to get emotional. I'm going to try not to. I was just talking to my friends about how growing up, my first job, I was 12 years old. And my mom, she was like, well, when you start working, you have to contribute to the household. So 12 years old, I'm contributing to the household. And then we would have other people come stay with us and different family members, but they didn't contribute to the household like Jevonya had to contribute to the household. And growing up, you think like, she hates me, she's doing something bad, she treats me differently. However, everything that she taught me helped me to get where I am today. I'm able to contribute to the household, where a lot of these other people are not able to contribute to the household, unfortunately. My mom, she was an entrepreneur. I didn't know what that was. I remember her going to a Tupperware convention in Tennessee. I didn't know what network marketing was or what entrepreneurship was, but I knew my mom was doing this thing. She ended up starting a home daycare. So my mom was a business owner. I didn't know, oh, she's a business owner. I just knew my mom did daycare, but she set her own schedule. She had her, her own business. She had her own clients, and she built it on her own. And so she has set such a fine example for me of what determination looks like in the face of adversity. My dad, he was a little unstable as I was growing up. They had an unstable relationship, but my mom, she always did what she had to do to take care of me and my brothers and to set a fine example. So, Mommy, I love you.
I love that. There are so many brands and businesses that are dominating. Talk about a brand or business that's dominating that you admire and why.
Oh, one that I love is Calendly. You familiar with Calendly? Yes, you use Calendly too. Calendly is absolutely amazing because I'm really about order. I'm about scheduling. I'm about being on time, because those are also keys in becoming a master networker. If you can't manage your time, you're not going to do very well in business, and you're not going to be able to set an example for people. So Calendly came out of nowhere and was like, boom, here I am. And I just absolutely love the systems that they have in place, the automation, because we lead such busy lives. We need something to keep us on track, but it has to do it on its own. So the automation with Calendly is absolutely amazing. I've tried other systems out there, but to me, Calendly is the best, and kudos to their creator. I absolutely love it.
Talk about that aha moment when you knew that your business was going to be successful.
When my business coach said, Jevonya, you should write a book, And I'm like, write a book? I don't write books. I read books. I buy books. Never in my life did I ever think of myself as an author. But when he said that to me, I'm like, you need to listen because he's not telling you that for no reason. He doesn't go to everybody and say, hey, you should write a book. Why is he telling you you should write a book, Jevonya? And so I thought about it and I'm like, obviously he sees something that I don't see. I'm still a work in progress. I have to do my affirmations all the time. I'm still working on those negative thoughts. And so when he said, write a book, and I wrote the book, self-published the book, within a year, all of it was done. I was like, wow, you did something amazing that a lot of people have not had the chance to do. So once I put it out there and I hired my publisher and CNBC reached out to me and Black Enterprise reached out to me and I Googled myself on the internet and I see all of this stuff, I'm like, I think you're onto something, Jevonya. So really when my business coach said, write the book really changed my perspective of myself as well.
And how can they purchase the book?
So they can go to my website, jevonya.com, Jevonya.com. And the book is also on Amazon. And if you Google my name, my first name, it'll pop up.
So speaking of advice, talk about the best advice you were ever given.
The best advice that I was ever given was that I need to take control of my own life. That's it. Jevonya, you are responsible for you. A lot of the times we grow up expecting, our parents are always going to be responsible for us. Our mate, they're responsible for our happiness. Our kids are responsible. But when I got to the point where I learned that Jevonya is responsible for Jevonya's happiness, that changed everything. And it was okay for Jevonya to be happy. Because that's another thing that we might struggle with sometimes, that it's okay for you to be happy. You're supposed to be happy. And so when I learned that I was responsible and the way I took care of me would reflect in the relationships around me, it was profound to me. I'm a middle child. So sometimes when you're a middle child, only girl, you get lost in the sauce. You got the big brother misbehaving, the little brother misbehaving, you're just there. So when I realized that I was responsible for me, things changed in my life.
Talk to a younger Jevonya. What advice would you give a younger you?
Younger Jevonya, I would tell her that she is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with you. I battled with being an introvert, that something was always wrong with me because I was different, or I wasn't the loud one in the class and I didn't raise my hand and, do backflips for people's attention. So I always thought something was wrong with me. So I would tell younger Jevonya, you are fine. There's nothing wrong with you. This is the way God created you. You are perfectly fine the way you are, and that you have valuable skills that you're bringing to society. And just keep doing what you're doing. Just keep going. Don't worry about comparing yourself to this person. Don't worry about what this person is doing. Just keep your head down and do what Jevonya knows she needs to do. Because in the end, you're going to turn out to be a fabulous, fabulous young woman.
Talk about self-caring, caring for self. What does that look like for Jevonya?
So for Jevonya, self-care looks like my Mondays in Mexico. So if anybody follows me on social media, they'll see that I do a Mondays in Mexico. Mondays are my days off. And I intentionally took Mondays off because I know most people hate Mondays. They dread the Monday. And if you dread the first day of the week, the rest of the week is going to be terrible. So Mondays in Mexico are for Jevonya. I do whatever I feel like doing. If I don't feel like doing anything, I won't do anything. I'll lay on the couch. But I think having a day off where I don't do any work, I go where I want to go. If I don't want to go, I don't want to go. If I want to sleep, whatever. Mondays in Mexico is whatever Jevonya wants to do. And so that's how I rejuvenate and that's how I take care of myself.
I love that. That is awesome. What is the biggest takeaway from this interview? What do you want our audience to leave with?
I want them to know that they are fine. They are okay. Life is going to be okay. I want you to know it's all right. I also want you to know that those dreams, those desires, those goals that you have, they're in you for a reason. And it's your responsibility to bring them out. It's your responsibility not to allow other people to stifle your growth. It's your responsibility to birth your elephant, whatever it is that you're working on. Is it always easy? No. But is it impossible? No, it's possible. You have to go ahead and do it. If it takes 1 year or if it takes 10 years, keep going. This is your dream. This is your vision. And make sure you're connecting with people on your journey, because you definitely cannot do it alone. This is not something that we can do alone. So do the work on yourself, birth that dream, connect with some amazing people, and go out there and do what you're supposed to do to make an imprint in this world.
You talked about your business coach. Talk about vetting a coach.
So I was in a unique situation when I lived in Providence, Rhode Island. There was a program, it's called Urban Ventures, and they provide free business coaching, mentorship for micro enterprises, micro business owners. And so one day I was at a networking event because I made sure that I put myself out there. I saw my business coach standing there. He was not my business coach at that time. I was super intimidated by him. He's this great big guy. And I'm like, let me speak to him. And then we met. He told me about the program that they offered. It was free, because there's a lot of resources out there that we don't realize are free in our communities to help us. I took advantage of him. I would go, we would have our sessions. Even when I moved, we would talk on Zoom, and we had just this great synergy. And he touched my life in ways that he can't even imagine. And so for other people, you're going to have to vet, because there's a lot of people out here that just want to take your money. But my first thing is if you don't feel right, if something inside you is like, this person is not for me, that person is not for you. A lot of the times we'll fight that inclination and we'll pay these people all of this money when we knew from the beginning they weren't for us. So have a conversation with them, look them in their eyes, go to coffee, spend time with them, because this is the person that you're bringing on to your team. This is your teammate. Your coach is a part of your success team. So spend time with them before you dish out your money.
What problem exists in the world today that you would like to solve?
I would really like to solve the disunity between people, because that, to me, it disgusts me that people are at odds with each other. It's because of your race, it's because of your gender, it's because of where you live. That I can't wait till the day that it's gone, and that people are able to be people and love each other and live together the way that we're supposed to be. We're not supposed to have this enmity between each other. And so I look forward to the day, and I know that that's a whole other discussion, but the day where that is eliminated, where we have the unity and we're free to have relationships, good relationships, the way that they were meant to be.
Jevonya, talk about mental wellness and entrepreneurship.
Well, those are two big topics right there. Mental wellness. If you're not mentally well, it's going to be difficult on your entrepreneurial journey, because being into entrepreneurship is all about your thinking. It's all about your thinking, and your thinking is connected to your emotions, and all of it works together. So you have to take care of your mental well-being. I remember when I needed to go to therapy, I went. I did the hard work. I made the phone call in January, and I didn't go for a whole year because I was still not ready to face it. But you have to face it, because there's things inside you that you need to deal with in order to get to the next level. You don't want to keep bringing your wounded child ahead with you as you move to the next level. And so mental wellness is very key. You have to take care of your mental health. You have to make sure that you're okay. Anything that's going on in your brain is going to come out your mouth, and people are going to be affected by what's going on inside of you. And so in order to be a successful entrepreneur, you definitely have to address whatever you got going on.
Let's have an attitude of gratitude. And I call this a thank fest. I want you to thank people and situations that has impacted your life. Have at it.
So first, I want to thank God. I am a woman of faith. I thank him for just giving me life and for saving my life on numerous occasions, because I was a little crazy in my teen years, but he has saved me. So I'm so grateful for that. As I mentioned, my mom, I thank my mom for loving me the way that she did, for setting such a fine example of what a woman is supposed to be like despite adversity. My dad, like I absolutely love my dad. We have these deep philosophical conversations. So I appreciate him and I thank him for always being there and making sure that I correct my thinking when I'm going down this rabbit hole. I also want to thank my three sons. I was a foster mother. I adopted three children, and my sons have no idea how much they saved my life. They gave me a reason to live and a reason to do the things that I needed to do. And, still today, I make sure that the things that I do, they're going to be proud. I want them to be able to say, that's my mom, and to be proud of me. So I want to just thank them and also thank them for turning out to be amazing, amazing young men, despite what they've been through, because they've been through a lot in life. So I thank them for that. I thank I thank my travel agent for finding Playa del Carmen, Mexico for me, because this has totally, totally changed my life. It just opened my eyes to just this world of possibilities for Jevonya, to move out of your home country, to be in a country where you don't speak the language, you don't understand the currency, you don't even understand the speed limit on the highway. It's just a new level of growth for me, which I am so grateful for. And just, all of the people who have supported me in my business over the past years, I'm so grateful just to have them in my network and just to love on me and support me the way that they do. So, and I'm grateful for you too as well, Dr. Francis. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's take a snapshot of the last 30 days. What was your win?
30 days. Wow. I've done a lot of winning in the last 30 days. So one thing is I decided that I was going to go home back to Providence, Rhode Island at the end of this month. And I wanted to put on an event. So this will be my first event in person coming out of the pandemic. I decided that I was going to solicit sponsors for this event. I've never done this before. And I've reached out to hundreds of people and organizations, and they are coming through like clockwork. And they're supporting my event, and they're giving me the resources and the information that I need. So that is a huge, huge win for me. I've had several visitors come from the States here. I had my aunt, she just came. She was the first person to visit me since I've been here in Mexico. So to me, that was a win. And also just sticking to my Mondays in Mexico. I've had people want me to do things on Mondays, and I've been, a little swayed. I'm like, well, maybe I can, maybe I should. But then I'm like, no, that's my self-care day. So that's a win to me, not giving in to the pressure of other people wanting me to do what they want me to do, but rather sticking to what Jevonya knows she needs to do. So those are a couple of my wins.
And how do you celebrate your wins?
Oh my goodness, how do I celebrate? I spend time with people that I love. I go to the beach, I go to the pool. What else do I do to celebrate? I travel. I still like to travel. And my self-talk. Great job, Jevonya. I talk to myself. I give myself the pats on the back. And to me, that's celebrating myself. I don't need that external validation as much anymore. Good job, Jevonya. And so I celebrate myself as much as possible. And yeah, it's enjoyable.
The word is play. How did you or how will you play today?
Ooh, that's a good question. So Wednesdays are my work day. So let's see to me, this is playing. Podcast interviews are fun. They're very enjoyable. I have a few more meetings today. So to me, this is a part of my fun. This is what excites me. I might go sit out by the pool for a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of hot out there, but those are some of the things that I'll probably do to play. Maybe I'll go to the pool today.
Jevonya, talk about your why. Why do you do what you do?
That's a deep one. So I do what I do, first of all, because I've had some traumatizing relationships in my life. When I was 16 years old, one of my best friends committed suicide. And ever since then, I've been extremely affected by relationships with people. I've been very standoffish, and I'm still working through that. And networking is a way for me to work through that. It's a way for me to trust people again and to build deeper relationships with people again. And I know that a lot of people, everybody has been wounded by somebody. And so one of the things is that I want people to learn how to reconnect with each other, learn how to trust other people, especially in the Black community. We don't trust ourselves. We don't trust other people. And it makes it hard to live a successful life. So one of my goals is, first of all, to heal wounded Jevonya, and then to be able to help other people heal their wounds that have been inflicted on them by other people. And so I just really want people to learn how to go out there and to be comfortable and confident, talking about who they are, talking about what they do, and talking about how they help in the world.
I want you to speak to the person in your lineage that has given you the most profound advice.
So that person would definitely be my dad. My dad has given me some, when we have our conversations and when I'm going through those moments, I'll call him and he'll just say the right thing, use the right scripture, give me the right encouragement. And I just really, really appreciate him for that. I know he comes with his own set of struggles, his own issues. His life was not easy. But when Jevonya needs him, Dad's there. Dad shows up. Dad talks to me. Dad listens to me. Dad encourages me. And so I really appreciate that. And, as we're talking, I've definitely been blessed with two amazing parents who have done their best to make me the way that I am. And so I really appreciate that.
Who is Jevonya Allen?
So Jevonya Allen I am Jevonya Allen. Jevonya Allen is a mom. And I know when I list my titles, people are going to be like, oh, that's just a title. That's what you do. But it makes up Jevonya Allen. Jevonya Allen is a mom. I'm a daughter. I'm a minister. I'm a friend. I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin. I'm a business owner. Jevonya Allen loves people. Jevonya Allen is a great friend. Jevonya Allen will support you, listen to you, care for you. Those are some of the things that make me who I am. And I just absolutely love all of the opportunities that I've been given. I just love people, and I love that what I'm able to do as a person and as a business owner not only affects my life so profoundly, but it also affects other people's lives.
And you're an author.
I still struggle with that sometimes. Yeah, I'm like, me too, huh? But yeah, I am an author. I have a book, The Introvert's Guide to Becoming a Master Networker. It's a mouthful, but it's an amazing read, quick read. And it will make you think about networking in a whole different light. People just think networking is going to these events and pushing a product or a service. That is totally not what networking is. That is not. If somebody's doing that, they have it all wrong. So I really want people to think differently about networking and think differently about introverts, because we get a bad rep out here. Oh, they don't like people. They're too quiet. They're unassertive. They're all this and that. But we are some of the best people to have on your team because we put our head down, we mind our business, and we get the job done. So
you talked about what networking is not. Tell us what networking is.
So networking is all about getting to know another person. It's about having a genuine conversation. It's about being open, being transparent. It's about finding ways to help each other, finding ways to connect, whether it's you need a doctor or you need some clients. Networking is really just about building mutually beneficial relationships. That's networking.
Who is your ideal client?
My ideal client right now is an introvert who is in business, someone who is looking to start a business and needs that accountability, needs that help, needs that support, needs those words of encouragement, that motivation. Those are really my ideal clients, because I understand what it's like to, be in an extroverted world and people telling you to do these things. Oh, you got to do a reel, or you got to go live every 5 minutes. That's not for introverts, but there's other ways to build a business that is more comfortable and natural for you. So for anybody who's an introvert, who's starting a business in sales and marketing, or even within a couple of years of their business, I'm able to help you start, stay, and scale.
What is your most costly lesson you've learned in life or business?
My most costly lesson would be not valuing my own opinion enough because I spent a lot of time people pleasing. Everybody else's opinion is more important, and what everybody else needs is more important. I have these thoughts, but something's wrong with me. So self-doubt, imposter syndrome, all of that mental stuff has been my most costly thing because I've spent so much time trying to undo it. Had I not dealt with it in the first place, I wouldn't have had to spend so much time, and I could have worked on actually making money. But I've had to do so much therapy and so much undoing of the training and just the negative thoughts that it's cost me a lot of time and a lot of money, but it was necessary for my process. And so for me, that's the most costly thing, is just dealing with the mindset issues that I have and still have. I still deal with them. They don't go away overnight. Some of them will be with me for the rest of my life. However, I'm not going to allow them to stop me from pursuing my goals.
How do you make impact daily?
I'm really into social media because it's great for an introvert and you don't want to speak too much or spend too much time with people. It's a great way for me to make an impact daily. So I'm always supporting somebody through social media, liking, sharing, commenting, doing something to touch somebody else's life and to help them further their cause. I know a lot of people are just watching on social media. They're just looking. However, it's a social platform for a reason, and it's free, so you can help somebody else just by liking or commenting or sharing their things. And so I'm intentional about doing something that's going to help somebody else every single day. When I create content is designed to inspire or motivate someone else, and so every day I touch somebody's life through social media.
AI, artificial intelligence, is trending. How are you using, or what is your thought about AI?
So I use Chat GPT. I do. I absolutely love it. I use it to help me do some of my social media posts. It helps me with my newsletter. It helps me create my bio and things like that. I think it's a valuable tool that we need. We're so bombarded with so many things, and we don't always have the bandwidth to create these things. We don't know what the right wording is. Everything changes so quickly. So I think AI is just going to help us to get our messages out there. You're going to have to modify it. You can't just take what Chat GPT says and just put it out there, because you're going to look foolish and people are going to know. So you still have to use some of your creativity and make it sound like you. However, I think it's a great tool to help us to stay in business and to get to the next level. Just like when the internet came out, I thought, it's a great tool to have. I think Chat GPT is great. And any other AI, if you need to use it, use it.
Legacy, when it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
When it's all said and done, I want people to feel like I touched their life in a positive way. I don't want anybody to ever say, Jevonya hurt me, or Jevonya hurt me intentionally. When it's all said and done, I want to be known as a positive force in other people's lives. When my funeral's there and people show up, I want people to show up. I've been to a funeral where there was nobody there but me, and that was the saddest funeral I've ever been to. And I never want to feel like I've left this world and didn't do anything with it. So I want people to, when they think about Jevonya, they think good thoughts about me, and that they have a story or something where I was able to touch their life positively.
Jevonya, what is the best decision you've made as a leader?
One of the best decisions that I made as a leader was probably with my company, Twisted Networking, during the pandemic, because it would have been easy for me to just be like, yeah, no, it's done. It's not making any money. I'm spending more, and just shut it down. However, I just couldn't do that. And I remember when I had first started my company, there was this other networking organization that they wanted me to join them. And I says, well, I have my event. And they're like, well, your little event, your little thing. And I'm like, my little thing, now 6 years later, my little thing is international. Where's your little thing? So for me, it's like, I kept my vision, and I'm still building. Twisted Networking doesn't make huge amounts of money yet, but I still build my business, and I didn't give in. And, recently someone sent me an email and she says, I'm so glad to see that you're still doing what you said you were going to do. And so as a leader, consistency, being true to your word is paramount, because people are watching you and they want to see that you're doing what you said you were going to do. And so keeping my business afloat has been a great decision.
If you conducted this interview, what is the one question you would have asked yourself? I want you to ask the question and answer it.
So, Jevonya, where do you see yourself in your business in the next 5 years? So I see my business, Twisted Networking, being the #1 business networking organization in the world. That's where I see my business. Right now, it's still small. It's micro. But in the next 5 years, Jevonya and Twisted Networking, it will be the premier business networking organization, hands down, in the world. People will love coming to our events. They will build their business. They will build their confidence. They will leave motivated, and their relationships at home and in the business arena will flourish. And that's where I see my business in the next 5 years.
We've come to the part of our interview. It's called Rapid Round of Fun. I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and I'd like you to give me very quick answers. If there's something you desire not to answer, feel free to say pass. Are you ready for the Rapid Round of Fun?
I guess so, Dr. Richards.
Your first job.
My first job was at the Boys and Girls Club in Providence, Rhode Island, Southside Boys and Girls Club.
Your favorite color.
Black is my favorite color.
Your favorite holiday.
I actually don't celebrate the holidays, so I will pass on that one.
Your ideal car.
Oh, my ideal car has always been a Lexus, and I got it.
Your favorite comfort food.
Oh, potato chips and dip. Wise potato chips and sour cream and onion dip.
Your favorite dance song.
My favorite dance song is probably the cha-cha, the cha-cha slide.
Your favorite singer or rapper.
Oh, wow. My favorite singer or rapper, definitely Whitney Houston. Favorite singer ever. Even though she's deceased, but favorite, Whitney.
What food you eat every week, no matter what?
I am a vegetarian, so I eat some kind of vegetables every week, every day, no matter what.
Work out or hit the couch?
Jevonya hits the couch. I should work out, but I like the couch.
Jevonya Allen, thank you so much for joining us on Black Entrepreneur Experience Podcast. Before we let you go, share with our audience the best way for them to connect with you, to do business with you, and feel free to leave all your social media handles.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, the best way to find me is Jevonya.com, Jevonya.com. Even if you want to just Google my first name, Jevonya, I will pop up. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, at Jevonya Allen or at Twisted Networking.
Thank you, Jevonya. That is a wrap.
Thank you for listening and subscribing to Black Entrepreneur Experience. We would love for you to leave a review and rating on iTunes and share with your friends. For show notes and more episodes, go to www.beepodcast.com. Join us next Wednesday, and remember, green is the new black. So keep your bank accounts and your business in the black.